Welcome everybody to week 9 of DCA. This is Colin and Stephen. So we made it 9 weeks. Pretty good. And like we were just talking about right before the show recording, everything was green. So it's been a good week. Yeah. Anything to add there, Stephen, that you noticed this week? Or
Seemed like kind of an up and down week, but finished strong. I think one big thing in the news was the House in the U.S. passed a bill to legalize weed. So yeah,
Oh, did they? I have not been following all that
yeah,
stuff.
apparently it's still sketchy whether or not it could pass in the Senate or not.
Yeah.
And apparently Biden also doesn't support legalizing weed.
Oh, okay.
So weird stance considering he's the leader of the Democratic
Yeah,
Party.
exactly.
The rest of the Democratic Party seems pretty enthusiastic about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if that might be good for some weed stocks because
Yeah.
the ones that I own are very, very bad right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might be down only 80% instead of 99%. So
Yeah.
hopefully, hopefully it does pass. I can jump in and throw up my portfolio here. So we might as well start with my total for this week. So we should be at 1800 like Steven said. So I'm up a little bit. And this week I bought two things. They are, let's see here. They're Starbucks and what's the other one? Short-term memory. Corp of Canada. I was able to buy two of them because I did have some additional funds saved from last week. Let's talk about Starbucks first because everybody knows what that is. Okay, Starbucks Corp. So everybody knows what Starbucks is. They've had historically really good returns, or they've been at the S&P 500 anyways. There is a bit of a dividend yield too, so it's pretty nice. Recently, along with things cooling down in the last month or two, is the talk of unionization throughout some of its stores. So that's brought some of the price down. But overall, Starbucks is just a solid buy. They're like a 50-year-old company, but in terms of expansion into the major cities, they are still expanding, but not like they were 10 years ago. Nonetheless, it is a very good, safe buy. It is a well-known brand, and yeah, they keep innovating with their drinks. Oh, sorry, I do want to say one more thing. Their PE ratio is fairly high in terms of restaurants. Since the price drop, it's come down a little bit. They were, I don't know, 27. They're up there. I forget what it was. But that is pretty high for restaurants. We're talking like this is tech company territory, right? Some restaurant brands are in the teens and stuff, and that's where you would expect it. But Starbucks is pretty high. But it's sort of what you expect. Everyone knows what it is. It's been pretty stable, so high PE ratio. I don't think they're quite like Tim Hortons level of expansion where there's 3 every corner, but we've also seen with Tim Hortons that they've probably overexpanded in a lot of areas anyways, and I don't think Starbucks is gonna follow that that sort of path and cannibalize their own sales. I don't know.
Interesting that you mentioned unionization because that actually is another thing that happened this week. A warehouse with like 5,000 employees, an Amazon warehouse with like 5,000 employees in New York voted to unionize.
Yes, yes,
They
yes.
succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you hear some of the stories about their warehouses and
Yeah,
you
the
can
conditions
definitely
that they work in.
understand
Yeah.
why they'd want to.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that was Starbucks, and then we have Power Corporation of Canada. So they're a financial management entity. They also are literally in energy as well, so they have some renewable investments. But we made a series on Wealth Simple, and a lot of people don't know this, but they actually own Wealth Simple. So, as part of their financial management assets, they have Wealthsimple trading and all the stuff that goes with it. And Wealthsimple seems to be doing quite well. They're hungry for market share, so yeah. Power Corp itself is kind of boring. They kind of trade sideways. But they have a fairly good dividend yield. Like 5% is fairly good for a stable company. And then small growths throughout the year. So it's a boring play, but it's one of my favorite ones to hold. So I picked up 2 today. Cool. Okay, so that's my those are my picks for the week. Just jumping back quickly here. Yeah, so we should be at 1800. I'm up $93. Not too bad considering last week were we down? I feel like we were down.
We were up last week. So.
Were we? Okay.
Yeah, not as much, but
yeah. So there you go. Week 9 for me. Let's I'll stop sharing so Steven can jump in with his stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So this is the snapshot from before I did my buys this week. So yeah, I was up $71 before. And then for my weighting of my portfolio, my indices were a little bit below where I want. Crypto's high because crypto's just gone up so much in the past few weeks here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ethereum was up 4% today. Bitcoin was up a couple percent. Some of the smaller coins are up like 10% today. So things seem to be climbing a bit here.
Nice.
But yeah, so this week I bought a couple shares of the Canadian Market Index fund. And 1 share of the US market fund. And then I had a bit of money left over, so I just bought 1 more share of the Bitcoin ETF as well.
Nice. Excellent.
And since I bought that earlier today, it's up $9.
Nice.
Wait, $11, $9, $12 since earlier today. So not too bad.
Not too bad at all. Yeah, it's very good. Very good.
Kind of a boring week, but yeah, it evened out the differential a little bit. Crypto's still high. The other ones are starting to lag a little bit, but yeah, like $11 for the indices. This health and biotech one, it's an expensive one relative to the other ones. So I'll probably wait till that one's out quite a bit before I'll let it get pretty out of range before I buy another share of it. Or I might look at maybe, I was thinking about maybe healthcare seems to be a pretty narrow one. So I might change this up a little bit into like a few different industries and lower the proportion of my portfolio for the health. Yeah, I was looking at some consumer discretionary and industrial ETFs. So I might add something in that realm.
Okay.
Or maybe even there is one cannabis ETF. So maybe I'll roll the dice on that next time around.
So healthcare and biotechs, I've always stayed away from them because I just didn't know enough about the industry. How in general, just like last 50 years, 20 years, how well does the biotech industry perform?
I have no idea.
Fair enough. I know nothing about it either. Okay, maybe that's something we'll look into and talk about sometime in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I definitely like this one. This one isn't really biotech so much. This actually says biotech mostly just because I copied it from an old spreadsheet. But this health ETF is more focused around the traditional health space, like pharmaceuticals in particular. It's pretty heavy on that, which yeah, it's kind of front of mind given the pandemic. But
okay,
yeah, but yeah, yeah, there is like, I guess, yeah, I haven't really looked into biotech much at all, but there's that whole like, I don't know if you include it as tech, but things like bioplastics and stuff like that, kind of that like, yeah, kind of adjacent industry is pretty interesting too.
Yeah. Another big, I guess, is included in indices, but another big industry are the consumer goods. Have you looked at any of the companies there? It's kind of boring. It's I don't want to call them boomer stocks, but a lot of them are like blue chip stocks, right?
Yeah,
They don't
totally.
yeah, they don't move that much, but they give a very predictable return. Um, are you a big fan of those? Have you looked into those, or do you prefer the more diversification from
Yeah, I've looked into it
ETF?
a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Kind of like the BMO ETFs, and I was looking into this one. It has, yeah, like you said, a lot of the blue chip kind of companies, so like Nestle, Procter and Gamble, Coca
Mm-hmm.
Cola, and Pepsi, Philip Morris, just so you get a little bit of that cigarette exposure. Uh, Unilever, yeah, I'm not sure what this one is, but yeah, like CVS, yeah,
Right.
another
Yeah.
tobacco one.
Yeah.
So yeah, looked into that a little bit. I don't know. I'm not super stoked about investing in tobacco stocks, but um, yeah, something like this might be an interesting thing to kind of incorporate into the portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. Perfect. So pretty good week. We're both up good amounts. At the end of week 9. Um, things are starting to warm up, and in Canada here, hopefully the market continues this green trend and heats up and warm up as well. Uh, that being said, both the Federal Reserve, I believe, and Canada has said that interest rates hikes continue to be on the table and are happening. So we'll see how much of that is priced in already, and how much of that will affect the market moving forward. But yeah, pretty good week. Pretty good week. Is there anything? Is there anything that you would like to see in the market? I know crypto regulation continues to be a big thing that's being pushed through. In addition to what you were talking about regarding cannabis. Okay. Let's go back to the cannabis thing actually a little bit. Was there a certain date that they said that the Senate is supposed to look at it? No.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
From what I was reading, though, like they would need 60 of the 100 people in the Senate to vote in favor of it.
Mm.
And there's some Democrats who don't support it, and it'll probably be along party lines pretty closely. So it's not sounding too promising that it actually
Right.
makes it through the Senate,
Okay.
especially if Biden is against it, because presumably if it came down to a tie or something, then
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Kamala wouldn't vote in favor of it probably if he opposes it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Great.
Canada's like society hasn't imploded from the legalization of cannabis.
Yeah, we're not all high, just like crashing into each other and committing crime. Or what are some of the arguments against it? Anyways, that's for another show. But okay, excellent. Oh, there's our furry friend. Okay, like I was saying, great week 9. If there's nothing else to add, Stephen, we'll see everybody back for week 10. That's a big number. So, cool. See ya.
Later.